Hello, everybody. Welcome to Back to Basics. I am your host, the Crazy Uncle. Today, we're going to be talking about hot weather survival. And I know a lot of you probably are about ready to turn the video off. Give me a second. This can be applied to everywhere. If you're in a warm environment, it all applies. So if you're even just going out to hang out with your buddies, throwing a football around or whatever for the afternoon, pay attention because you're going to want to know this stuff. Alright, hot weather survival is quite literally what it sounds like. Dealing with high temperatures in usually, not always, but usually an arid environment. Arid meaning there's no water around in the air. It just sucks it out of you. Alright, what you want to have around you is dihydrate, I can't even say it, water. Somebody in the comments is going to spell it out for me because I screwed that up. But you want water, and you want a lot of it. Alright? If you're out moving around, especially in a arid environment, you don't realize that your sweat is evaporating very, very, very fast. Which is one of the reasons, one of the first things they tell you during hot weather survival courses is close your mouth when you're inside an arid environment, because you are amazed how much water you lose just by exhaling with your mouth open. It's absolutely insane. Alright, with the water, you need some salt. You need a little bit of salt because here's the thing. Salt itself may be a mineral, but it works like a vitamin. Vitamins bond to minerals in order for your body to absorb them, just like your body needs vitamin D to absorb calcium. Your body needs a little bit of salt to absorb the water. It is what it is. That's how your body operates. Which is why when you've been profusely sweating, those sports drinks taste so good. It's because your body realizes there's actually some sodium going in there, and that's what your body needs to absorb said water. Now, do not just go straight with sports drinks, because a lot of them, especially the more common ones, I won't mention which ones, but they're named after a Florida team, or ones that might have a little bit more power in the name, they've got too much. You can't just drink this shit straight, okay? They've got too much sodium chloride in it to actually keep your body going. You need to mix with just straight water. This is extremely important. Don't think, oh, I'm going to go out on the football field and I'm going to be slamming these sports drinks. By the end of the game, you're going to have a case of the shit so bad, you're not even going to know what the hell's going on. And that's one of the ways you lose hydration. The two fastest ways you lose hydration, well, actually there's three. There's urination, defecation, and puking. Okay, vomiting. So keep that in mind. You want to keep that water in you in a survival situation especially. But if you're just out with your buddies, take your time, utilize the latrine, is what it is. So, as long as you deal with this, you don't have to worry so much about overheating. But if you are worried about overheating, find yourself some shade, take a couple minutes and just relax. Let your core temperature go down. This is extremely important. You have to let your temperature go down. Alright. The way your body cools itself is by sweating. Sweating causes evaporation, and evaporation causes heat to be removed by something called convection. Alright? If you ever heard the phrase convection oven, that's how it transfers heat. It's not actually connected. If it's connected, like if you stuck your hand in cold water, that's conduction. You actually have something conducting on your skin. So shade is good, water's better, obviously, to dunk yourself in. Just don't drink whatever you just dunked yourself in. Very unsanitary. Alright? But your body has to cool down via evaporation. It cannot do that unless it has enough freaking water. Okay? So keep that in mind. Always keep water handy. Also, your skin. Okay, a lot of people don't know this. There's such a thing called prickly heat. If you're wearing a lot of clothes and you're working outside in the hot sun, what's happening is the water is evaporating in your pores, and what's leaving behind is the sodium chloride, the salt. It gets in there and it grinds, and it is such an irritation, it will drive you absolutely bonkers. Now the only way to get rid of prickly heat, old fashioned, cool to warm shower with a lot of soap. And I mean a lot of it. It takes a long time for that shit to come out. It will come out eventually over time with standard skin flaking off, but you don't want it in the first place. So take care of your skin, because it needs to be able to evaporate. If you have too much sodium coming out of your pores and you're not cleaning it off, eventually they're going to plug. Then you can't sweat, then you're going to overheat, and then you're going to come down here, this bottom portion. This is where, doesn't matter who you are, you need to listen to this. Doesn't matter what you're doing. I don't care if you're just a little kid. I don't care if you're full-grown grandpa or grandma. You got to pay attention to this, especially in the heat. These are the heat injuries. The most common is heat exhaustion. All right. The symptoms are very simple. You're going to get lethargic. You're going to slow down. It seems like you're just sweating. Like, holy crap. Whew. Okay, I need to sit down. That's usually stage 1 of heat exhaustion. If you get to stage 2 or 3 of heat exhaustion, which is the first part of all 3 of these, then you're going to be sitting down going, whoo, shit, I just need to take a nap. A lot of times that's what happens. Your body wants to shut down, minimize its processes so it can simply just vent heat. All right. Next, you move on from heat exhaustion to heat cramps. The symptoms of heat exhaustion and heat cramps are identical with one exception. Heat cramps, you get cramps. It's not any more difficult than that. Cramps is cramps. It's what you get. What you see is what you get. All right? You're still going to be profusely sweating. You might have the urge to take a shit. I'm not kidding on that one. You might have to run inside and go, how come nothing's coming out? Well, that's your body pulling water away from your internal muscles. So it thinks everything's starting to move. Shocker, right? So keep that in mind, okay? A lot of times you get redness in the face. You get maybe a little pale, blotchy, things like that. Just keep that in mind. Now, if somebody's profusely sweating, does not mean they're falling into these categories. It might mean they have enough in their system to keep going. So don't let the sweating just throw you off. It's just a common thing. But I bring it up because when you hit the big one here, heat stroke, this is the point where your body it is out of its ability to sweat. It either doesn't have enough fluid, or the core temperature is so high that it's doing everything it can to keep the organs alive. Unfortunately, this is a backwards tactic that your body uses. When this happens, a lot of times it will draw the blood up towards your organs, and since there's not enough water, it's going to congeal just a little bit. It becomes viscous. And since they call it heat stroke, is yes, you can actually have a stroke. Okay, a lot of times with this, somebody will go real pale. A lot of times they pass out. Heat stroke is nothing to be dealt with lightly, okay? This is dangerous. If you know somebody who they're done sweating and they fall over, a lot of times they'll be like out in the ether. Whatever. Get their ass someplace shaded, someplace cool. Call a fucking ambulance or get them to a hospital. Because if you don't get them cooled down quick and know the ice bath is not something you want to do, because that will put them into shock. That's a temporary fix. Dunking their legs, like part of their legs in an ice bath, that will help a little bit. Dunking their arms in one will help a little bit, but that is only a temporary fix. Get them to the fucking hospital. They need to be checked for several other things. It's no fucking joke. Now, I could go into each of these, and they could be their own video with the heat injuries themselves. But again, back to basics. I just need you to understand. Now, I do recommend that if you're in a hot environment, you look up heat injuries and you look up the symptoms. Because the more you understand on that, the better off you are. This one here is last point I'm going to make. Heat exhaustion can be dealt with. You can actually get over that very easy. Sit down, take a break, slick some cool water, preferably not cold. If you have to, pour some on you, and you'll be fine. Heat cramps, you're going to be sitting down for a long time until your body hydrates enough of those cramps go away. It will put you down to the ground. And if it doesn't, yeah, you may be strong, but don't fuck with that, because the next stage is right here. And that, again, heat stroke is nothing to be fucked with. So, I hope this helped you out, everybody. Stay safe out there. And I'll catch you on the next one. This is your crazy uncle. I'm out.